Welcome back to another Game Time Discussions podcast. I'm Emery Cuzzy. I'm sitting here with Cameron Selby, and today we're going to go over another best ball, $3 best ball mania draft. And we've kind of gotten the same position multiple times, so hopefully we won't get the 12 spot this time around. Hopefully not the 4 spot. Let's try to hopefully mix it up either early or in that middle tier, 6 through 8 would probably be best. I haven't actually drafted from the 8 spot yet. I've drafted everywhere else on the board. 8 hasn't been kind of eluding me. So
Right. Yeah, and it kind of leads to where our ownership's kind of heavier towards certain players so far. I'm not sure if you looked at your exposure yet, but I've got 30-ish% of a certain particular guy in the first round, and usually you want to divvy it up to like max 25%, or something of that nature. But that usually kind of correlates with being in 12 different draft spots, not just always being 12. We've recorded 3 drafts and we've been in the same spot twice.
Well, I have mostly Garrett Wilson. 12 kind of alludes for that because he's at 11, but he's kind of jumped right there with Jahmyr Gibbs. He'll go right before him. Some people are, going running back a little earlier because there's just not very many, and they want to go that hero RB. So they want to make sure that they jump that 12 spot.
So it looks like we're 3.
Oh, today. Cool.
So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Maximize screen, so I won't have any.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Side issues.
Let me help you out over here.
It was funny the last time we did this, like we went about 4 rounds deep before you noticed, and I was just like,
yeah, I know. Let me go through and look at our spots. So 3 corresponds to 22.
3 is a really fun spot.
Yeah,
I like it a lot because you basically get one of Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra. At this point, I'm underweight at the very moment on Justin Jefferson. Between the 4 of those guys, but if you pick Justin Jefferson as your preference and he goes off like he normally does, then there's no reason at all. One of those guys probably misses some time. We're guessing and checking because all of them have upside for wide receiver 1. But it's fun because pick 3, you probably have CD off the board. You probably have Christian McCaffrey off the board. So you just get your preference of the rest. And then, it's kind of starting to come together with rounds 2 and 3. We've said before how we hate the range, but really it's not too bad if you just convince yourself, hey, I'm going 3 wide receivers very early. It makes you feel better about the guys that are in that range when they're your wide receiver 2 or 3.
Right. And if you look at, I'm kind of going through and I'm starring people, I see some ready stacks, because you see Patrick Mahomes at 43. If he falls, you can get Travis Kelce in the earlier part of the round. And if he doesn't, CJ Stroud and Stephon Diggs are an option also because we have them. Stephon Diggs is in the 3rd round while CJ Stroud's later. So you have some options to stack, which is always a good thing. Yeah,
it's really easy to get Cincinnati. It's really easy to get Houston. We saw one last draft that I think they had the 2nd spot, and they screwed it up because they tried to double stack Tank Dell, Nico Collins, and CJ Stroud, and they didn't go quarterback first when Tank Dell was going to be there, and they ended up not getting him. They stacked somebody else, but that would have been a really cool start, and it would have made me feel better about my team if I were able to execute that.
Yeah, and we were like, this is, like I said, we haven't picked this high, so this is going to be a fun pick. We're actually up on the clock. Let's see who went.
Let's see.
Looks like they went in order. So would you rather go Jamar or Tyreek Hill?
Well, we did Tyreek Hill last time. So let's go ahead and go with Jamar.
Perfect.
Take a look, see what we can do.
Let's see.
And it's really easy, like I said, to get to Joe Burrow right now. He's going
70.
Early round 7.
Yeah.
And that's where we're going to be. Late round 6, early round 7. And we could just pick. And again, I like to be able to have somebody in between us, a couple picks so we can read.
Right.
And so if nobody's taking quarterbacks between 6 and 7, I'm sorry, the 1st and 2nd pick.
Right.
In the 6th round, we can go there, or we can hold off a couple picks and he'll probably be there.
Yep.
Because, Joe Burrow's kind of had a range where really nobody's reaching on him unless they have Cincinnati players. But everybody else is kind of the dual threat quarterbacks are the ones that are either being reached on or kind of typically don't fall.
Right. And if I look, I mean, I actually really like 3. JSN is in on the 3 pick. And then you get this little range of rookies right here. So we're going to have some good options later on in this draft. Let me go to the big board and we'll hang out at there. Let me go all the way up first. So we can kind of see what everybody else is thinking. Oh, CeeDee Lamb goes first in this draft. So that was cool.
I've said that before, and I had a buddy of mine yesterday that I was drafting with, and he had the first pick. And I was like, don't go CMC. And he was puzzled. Like, why not? And I was like, well, first off, the first overall pick's kind of cursed because I put out a tweet last week how only 2 of the last, I think, 8 or 9 seasons actually had a top 10 of their own position season. And one of them didn't even play in the fantasy postseason. And twice that was CMC. Also, because of the range and where the second and third round is drafting, you're going to really not be happy with your receivers if you go CMC.
Right.
But if you go CMC early, if you go any of the receivers early on the second or third, we had a draft where Josh Jacobs fell into the 5th round.
Yeah.
Alvin Kamara is in the 6th round.
Travis Etienne.
Completely fine with them being your RB1. And you just got to look at a tandem of, would I rather have Christian McCaffrey and Mike Evans, or could I have CeeDee Lamb and, enter your favorite running back in the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th round?
Right, of course. And, something that we kind of talk about late season stuff, you want to, we expect to make the postseason. Well, CMC has a pretty, neutral or rough postseason. So that kind of doesn't help him.
Yeah, he's somewhat, matchup proof because he's such a dual threat. But I mean, it's not like he's got an easy stretch towards the end, like the Rams, Dolphins, Lions, like all possible high scoring affairs, but all of them were pretty above average against running backs last year. So you throw that in with some on the road against Buffalo and Green Bay games in late November, December.
Buffalo's a hard place to play.
It's not like we're saying fade Christian McCaffrey, but it's just based on where the board is currently going. I just don't love the receivers being my first receiver in the 2nd and 3rd round. That's just the main premise of why I'd prefer to go receiver. It's a PPR. You're more likely to have the bonuses. As the receiver, you can start up to 4. And, running backs haven't really caught up in terms of ADP on these best ball drafts yet.
Right. And so we're up in, let me see, in 2 picks. First guy I have starred is Travis Kelce. We're up now. I'm not on the Brandon Ayuk side of anything. Travis Kelce would be really cool if we got him, because then you can pair him with Patrick Mahomes. You get an all-star tight end. You don't need to worry about it for later. What do you think? So
what I would say is we would pick our preferred receiver, because more than likely one of the tight ends will be there with our 3rd round pick between Laporta and Kelce.
Well, the question is, you rather go Diggs in the 3rd?
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, let's see. What did I do? Let's see. Okay, I did get Kelce, which is fine. We'll get Stephon Diggs.
Hopefully. I've seen a lot more kind of take him on the back end of the 2nd or 3rd round. So, or like very first pick. So that's why I wanted to get that security, because I didn't anticipate both of the people in between us picking tight end. And so Sam Laporta and Kelce are really 1A, 1B right now to me. Half of the rankings have Kelce as 1, half of them have Laporta as 1. So
Jalen Waddle.
But I mean, we had 2 receivers, hopefully not a 3rd one, that have gone. Kyron has fallen all the way to the 3rd round, which love him at the ADP, but I've already taken some.
Right.
I just feel like he's kind of in the downward trajectory because he's got that Q tag. But it looks like it worked out, so we can go with Diggs.
Yeah, we'll go Diggs over Laporta, of course, because we already have tight end. And then we're a few picks down, so we'll just get to watch the board.
But again, the reason behind all the tough part, like look at all these receivers that are in this range right now: Waddle, Devontae Smith, Stephon Diggs, Debo. Cooper Kupp, DJ Moore, all of those guys, really good players, but all of them have another potential alpha
Right.
on the other side of that team.
Yeah.
So you don't know. They're really close, and I just don't want them. Look at the second pick in the draft. They went Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, and then Devontae Smith. Like they're going to be lacking at receiver, and something tells me already that they're going to be drafting kind of not really correlated.
Right. And one thing I will say is we actually have a very correlated ready lineup. I mean, Cincinnati, like you said, Joe Burrow in the late rounds, Travis Kelsey, Patrick Mahomes is one of our possible picks. Stephon Diggs. If we don't get Patrick Mahomes, CJ Stroud could be the guy we go with. Um, a lot of options to stack the first three guys, I guess is what I'm getting
Yeah,
at.
and
So
Mahomes is going in terms of ADP later than he has since after his true rookie season, his
right.
first year as a starter. Obviously won the MVP, 5,000 yards, 50 touchdowns, and then he was like a early second round pick the following year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now because he comes off a down year, he's really QB3, sometimes QB4, and he's late in of the fourth round.
And
So
he's got such an improved skill group.
mhm,
Like you got to think like last year was by far his worst skill group. You know, running Justin Watson, MVS, and a rookie Rasheed Rice out there as your best receivers is definitely not something you're gonna. When Kadarius Toney, you know, everybody on their team kind of fell apart. Sky Moore, none of those guys panned out. You know, he obviously had to have come out of a down year when no one could catch the ball. So.
right.
Jalen Hurts with AJ Brown for team 10. They got the stack. Let's see.
And again, looking at the other end of that draft, it's probably better that he took Hurts there because of the fact that 11th and 12th had not taken a quarterback yet. So you want to have that security, especially if you're trying to stack somebody and you're not going best player available. And like if he falls to me, he falls. But he's trying to correlate his team, so I'd expect he'd probably go receiver here.
Yeah. One thing about our team that I'm happy we actually went Kelsey is because I think that I'd rather have Kelsey and Diggs over, you know, Diggs and Laporta personally. I think that's kind of my preference.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really close up there at the top though. So it's definitely a preference thing. I think that finally they're going to be able to stretch the field in KC and he'll be the safety valve that they've been, you know.
To me, it's just the health, making sure that now 34-year-old Kelsey is going to
Fair. Absolutely.
keep you the points per game tight end one. Last year he still was, even though he didn't finish as tight end one.
Mm-hmm.
I think Laporta ended up squeaking it out, but it was mainly just kind of consistently 13.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
so
3 running backs on that team.
yeah,
Going
team 8 is just gonna
go,
struggle.
Go robust running back kind of build. We're gonna probably see them just hammer receiver later on. So
I'm surprised there's not a ton of quarterbacks yet, but it looks like we're gonna have our preference.
Yeah.
If we go that way, Lamar goes right there.
Yeah, it looks like they're gonna start. They're slipping a little bit compared to where we're at right here, 43. So yeah, it looks like there's been a couple guys that have been pushed up the draft board. 49th went. I'm not sure who that is, and 44th went. So
we'll probably be leaning to go.
No, there he goes. Patrick Mahomes is off the board, which is surprising-ish, I guess. But CJ Stroud's still there, and if we're like, hey, let's just wait, we could always do that. It's just a really weird range of players. So I'm okay with either way, whatever you're thinking. Hopefully we'll get that. It's 2 picks away. Let's see what everybody else has, I guess.
Do you want to try to wait for it seems like running backs are going a little earlier because there's a few teams that have already gone 3. Do you want to snag an RB1? And
well, the next RB is James Cook.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if I want to go that far.
Okay, so we'll go true 0 RB.
I'd probably go CJ Stroud first.
Yeah, we'll go Stroud first, and then we'll probably decide
I think
the best available receiver. I think Keenan's still there.
Yeah, he's down here.
Keenan's still there. His ADP hasn't really caught up to where we think it should. But then also, as a QB2, we love a Caleb Williams.
Yeah, and we just got the possible. We could get the possible stack if that happens. So, but I'm really comfortable with where we're at. I feel like we got. First off, when you really look at this, guys, at the end of the day, when you can get a top tier running tight end and a top tier quarterback with a stack, you should be kind of confident with your team and how it looks and how it's built. We are up. That was very quick. I'm down to go look at Keenan, of course. Let's put him at first on the board.
I would unqueue Kincaid. Or no, I would just go ahead and select Keenan. There's nobody else I'm even considering right here. This was a good range for tight ends if we
I'd waited.
had waited, but that's totally fine.
Yeah, and I'm good. I'm happy with this. This looks great to me. And we're going, like Cam said, the true zero RB. But when are you ever mad when you have Jamar Chase, Stephon Diggs, Keenan Allen, and Travis Kelce on your team? You know, so
there is a team basically that's kind of gone pick for pick with us. If they go receiver here, they had the 6th pick. They're on the clock right now, but they went 3 straight receivers, and then they went a quarterback, then they went a tight end. So they have the exact same build as us. They're going to come on the way around and probably take whatever best available running back is there.
Yeah, and so will this team that's next to us at 4th. They'll probably go running back also, just because of their build. Let's see. That guy, I hope that guy doesn't go running back again. That would be, I mean, it would be the true robust strategy, and then you just go 10 wide receivers, but it goes a weird pick for Anthony Richardson there.
Yeah,
to me. But
his wide receiver 2 is just going to be very, very low
on
the totem pole. So
let's see.
A bunch of very different strategies, though.
Yeah.
A lot of teams have, already selected one has gone truly all 4 receivers. Still some zero RB situations. We're not the only ones with that.
I think there's 3 of us. Yeah. 4 of us.
4 of
actually,
us.
4. Yeah.
4 of us still without running backs. And it's an awkward range. I think Kamara is the only
right.
Other guy. I don't expect him to fall to us, but if he did, we would definitely select him.
Let's go check it out. Kamara's pretty close. So this is kind of the range we're looking at. 74, I had Zamir White starred.
I haven't really had any shares of Kenneth Walker, but he's kind of right in the next, the tier 4 for us, kind of right next to Derrick Henry, which we're much lower on. I mean, we have him right next to Kenneth Walker, and they're about 4 rounds difference in ADP right now. Zamir White right after that, and then Aaron Jones. Small tier, and then after that, it's just kind of, boom or bust guys.
Yeah, trying to watch these guys go. It looks like we got, this team over here, Hooligan, he's got 2 quarterbacks now. He took Dak also. That's going to thin some of these other guys that haven't done that yet. RJK in the 5th pick went 2 receivers and then 3 straight running backs, which is something I haven't really seen.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Maybe that's best player available. Like he was just like, let's just pick the best guy on the board.
But I mean, he's not really going to be able to, unless he's going golf later. Like he's not really going to have a stack.
Right. Yeah, it looks like Aaron Jones is the only running back up to this point that got picked. I'm guessing that we'll see a couple more, obviously, but we'll probably be able to get the 3rd best running back that we think on the board. Kamara, I think that was a default pick. Godwin. Yeah, here we go. Let's go look. So if we're going running back, we're up next. I don't know what this guy's going to do at the 69th pick. Let's see. Oh, come on.
So obviously this is a range right here. We could just be completely done on quarterback and take Burrow with our 2nd pick.
Yeah.
Not this next one, but I think so Kenneth Walker went. Yeah. So who's the best running back available right here?
David Montgomery or Zamir White.
Okay.
Preference.
Ramondre as well. This is kind of where it's not a great receiver range.
13 seconds.
Let's see.
I'm okay with going Zamir White.
Let's go Zamir White. I think we're gonna have to probably go 4 running backs in the next 6 rounds or so.
Yeah, that's
but
okay though.
it'll be okay.
We're at this point. We knew our strategy, and I'm actually pretty comfortable with what we did. So
Yeah.
I'm not that worried about it. We could always get Brock Bowers in that 100 range and end our. We're up. Wow, that was quick. Back to back
I think they might
quarterbacks.
be auto drafting, but Joe Burrow's off the board. We probably weren't going to go there, but if we wanted to stack,
There's
so
really
there's a couple receivers.
Andre's here.
Yeah, maybe going a second running back or DeAndre is probably my preference.
I would probably let's go DeAndre.
Okay.
Let's do something where we really build out the
Shoot,
receivers.
if this was 2021, our team would be
yeah,
better
right.
now.
We'd have the
You got Jamar Chase, Stephon Diggs, Keenan Allen, DeAndre Hopkins,
Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce. Yes, with the young quarterback. But yeah, so we'll have probably be crossing our fingers for a couple running backs to these next range.
Mm-hmm.
Several guys in this next tier that we're interested in.
So the guys that let's see, we're gonna be pick 94.
That's great. So Najee Harris goes right in that range. Tough schedule at the very end, but Arthur Smith, again, Derrick Henry's 2,000-yard seasons came right with him.
Right.
I know it's frustrating, but with the Bijan situation, but in totality of the run game, Bijan and Tyler Algier both were really solid for their production last year. Bijan was a little underwhelming for his first round.
Wow, Najee just went in the 7th round. That's a big jump. Must be, and also, you look at this guy has 5 running backs. I think he's probably sabotaging based on what he's doing. This guy here, because no one goes 5 running backs. It's just not a build we'll see ever. So there might be a sabotage going on in this draft. You can't really do anything about it, unfortunately. But we're going to have to find some value at running back. Zach Moss off the board.
I mean, there's still some guys that we like in the 8th to 10th rounds that we're getting a ton of right now. Javonte Williams, I actually want more of what I've gotten so far.
Yeah.
But he's one that actually, his ADP right now is around 106. And I've actually seen him be overdrafted because this range is a lot of, running backs going.
Wow.
In the 8th, 9th rounds, look, you just had 3 straight running backs there.
Austin Eckler's in the hundreds. We're not even close to the hundreds, guys. I can tell you that. So, yeah. So we're 94th, and Austin Eckler is ranked 101, I believe. So that should tell you kind of where this draft is looking. Caleb Williams got that pairing with Roma Dunze. Let's see if this
3
guy.
straight rookies right there.
Yeah. See if this guy goes running back again, and we'll just have to deal at that point. Running backs will all of a sudden be commodities.
Yeah, but Brooks is still on the board. We like Javonte Williams, like I mentioned. And then even in the following rounds from that, Tajay Spears, Chase Brown, kind of the same type of back. Brian Robinson Jr.
Yeah.
I'm still not convinced that Austin Eckler is the number one in that backfield.
No.
So I think Austin Eckler is going to fill the Antonio Gibson role, which might limit Brian Robinson's ability to be an RB1, but I don't think RB2. So
he was way underdrafted. Remember the whole B Robinson accidentally picking the wrong one and then getting it right kind of thing? Yeah, he was way underdrafted and then was much better than what he is.
All right, let's see what the board looks like right now. We're up next. JSN is still on the board. We could nab our wide receiver 5.
And then if you look at running backs, you got
most of those guys are going to be there. So I think we could go either our tight end 2, a quarterback 2, or
I don't think quarterback. We can either do tight end or receiver, Brock Bowers or JSN. What do you think? I have plenty of JSN.
I've got plenty of both.
I know.
Over 30%.
Which one would you rather have in this situation before it ends right now?
Let's go with Brock Bowers.
Okay. Did not let me pick Brock Bowers.
It's fine. Did we get JSN?
Yeah.
Hopefully. Okay. And so like we said, we did the strategy there because there was one of the teams in
Jonathan
between us
Brooks
that
is
already had 3.
gone. Let's
We
see.
knew that the first pick needed another running back.
Yeah. Jonathan Brooks made a lot of sense for him. I don't think this guy will go running back. He goes Brock Bowers, perfectly fine. We go and we'll get this guy because I don't think that there's another running back that I would rather have.
Javonte Williams.
Javonte.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
really happy about him. Their OC, I think, has been top 10 in terms of RB targets his entire career, running offensive schemes. And Javante had a really solid rookie year. He had a multi-ligament ACL tear, so that's why he struggled more so than somebody like Brees Hall. Plus, he was in a much, you know, well, not much worse situation. They
No.
were both in tough situations.
Yeah.
And really, Brees Hall, even though he finishes RB2, he really took about 2.5 months to really start to become a reliable RB1.
Right.
Then he just, they're like, we're going to give you 35 touches every game the rest of the year. And that's what kind of helped win us some money and some DFS.
Oh yeah.
That
And
was a good time.
thinking of ahead, guys, I'm not going to be starring anybody because we know how that goes. But you could always wait and get Tennessee. You get Will Levis to stack with DeAndre Hopkins, or you could look Geno Smith / Sam Howell for Seattle. We can't get the Chicago quarterback's gone. Houston's quarterback is with us, and Casey and Cincinnati are gone. So that's kind of our options for stacking later on. If y'all just so y'all can get an idea of like how you need to be thinking ahead in the draft, of course. And of course, we're going to be going as much running back as possible here pretty soon.
Probably running back, and then we'll snag a tight end soon. Dalton Schultz comes to mind as a second tight end, and then it would give us a double stack.
Yeah, it would absolutely. And there's another guy that I'm not going to say out loud because I hope he falls to us at tight end. Playing for the Eagles, but he would.
Zach Ertz.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Falls to us in the 20th round. But yeah, so he would help us out a lot. So that would be cool just to get secure tight end. That would give us 2 tight ends in the top 2 tiers. Makes you a lot more comfortable with going only 2 tight ends for the rest of the draft, basically.
Yeah, this is a big range of the previous 2 rounds up to where we're about to select for running back depth. This is where you kind of, if you knock out the 4 to 5 receivers early on, this is where you can kind of hammer the position. It'll be interesting how we kind of correlate that tier, but Tony Pollard in a strange situation. We love Trey Benson, but he is the RB2, so you got to be patient with him.
Mm-hmm.
Nate Chubb, I'm very concerned about because there has been no report whatsoever about his progress. And I know we're in June 1st, but
there's certain players you need to worry about.
I as much as I love Nick Chubb as a talent, I think we need to start moving him down in ranking, and then maybe moving up Jerome Ford. Just because I just, you can't be saying, we're playing with the guys we have and we're prepping with the other guys.
Mm-hmm.
And one of your best players is on the team still. It's not a contract situation. It's an injury situation. And you're not even giving a false narrative of, oh yeah, he's looking great. He's making progress.
Right. So we're up next. If you look here, I started some running backs on this side here that are left. You also have Devin Singletary if you want to take a shot at the New York Giants. I'm not going to go there probably. I'm going to go with a little bit better offenses. But if he falls, obviously, then you could go with that option. But
love the fact that he fell to us.
Brian Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we'll go with him first. And then let's see what the other 2 teams need. That's always a good way to do it, guys. Make sure you go and check the straddle. So he'll probably go running back in one of his. And then I don't know what this guy's going to do because he's got a really weird, awkward team.
Plus, I think the last few times they've been auto drafting. So,
well, we'll see. Brandon Cooks, pretty quick pick. This is not an auto draft this time. You're also about 3 seconds behind me.
True.
So I say things and then Cam's like, "Oh, it's up there now."
Mm-hmm.
So, we'll see. He's still thinking.
So right now, would
Like
you
corn.
what would be your preference between going with Dalton Schultz with a double and or getting our fourth running back, which, you know, our running back depth in terms of RB1 fairly weak, but we would have four guys that we feel very comfortable with.
Let's
We would get a
see.
second, probably a second Cincinnati player in that offense.
Let me
What are your
see.
thoughts on it?
So our next picks would be 142. We're up now. But our picks would be 142. So this is kind of the range of the guys you would be looking at. I don't care either way. We can do it. We can do tight end if you want. That's fine.
I don't know if I want to.
I have 10 seconds for you to
Let's go with
decide.
running back.
Okay, Chase Brown.
Yeah.
Perfect. Like it.
I'm not convinced Zach Moss coming in is just going to take away everything. Chase Brown had a really strong year, or end of the year, despite Joe Mixon finishing, I believe, as RB7 last year.
Mm-hmm.
But he's no longer there, so they're just kind of splitting for touches. But for PPR purposes, I think Chase Brown makes more sense.
I just think if you're going to think about, who could take a starting job away, I don't know that I think Zach Moss is a starting running back in this league. It's kind of like the thing
He
with
had a great 3-week stretch with
right.
JT out, but really he's been a journeyman for a reason. Chase Brown at least has shown upside. He was one of the guys last year in the 20th round I was kind of heavy on, and really he didn't. He was much of a kind of no-show for much of the season, mostly just because they were just 90% of the snaps to Mixon, or at least 90% of the touches.
Well, it was him, and then they had a committee behind him,
Yeah,
basically, so that made it a little
but
bit
now it's
harder.
truly him as a RB1 fringe RB2 upside RB1
Right. Mm-hmm.
on the team. Um, there's just volume there on a good team.
Should be where we see the tight end go.
That's kind of the thing with Zeke is like it's hard to place him in a rank because I don't know if he'll get most of the touches, but I feel like they're more likely to go with him at the goal line instead of Rico Dowdle. So that means that he should be ranked higher than 41 and 39, like the best ball sites have him. We have him as 31, which seems way too high. But
Now I have a lot of Zeke. I'm
it's
not scared of Zeke in one bit. I think that he makes a lot of sense as a player just because of his role.
But I mean, look how close he's going with Rico Dowdle. Like one of them's gonna have a great thing, or they're going to be like
50-50 committee.
We need to figure out a situation and sign somebody, trade a late round pick for somebody.
Right.
That's in the realm of possibilities also.
Let's go look at the players and just give us an idea of who we might be going for next. We are up in 6 picks. And so we can kind of look at this range here.
Cole Kmet still on the board comes to mind.
Put him up there. If I don't have Rams. The next tight end, we can look at just tight ends for a second. Luke Musgrave.
Tyler Kraft towards Peck could be unavailable to start the year, and really a lot of people were split on who would be tight end one with Green Bay because both of them had a couple games of solid production. I think Luke Musgrave's the better player, and this just kind of could give him the opportunity to just truly win the job and win the targets in an offense that has a lot of talent, but nobody that's truly for sure going to just get a hog amount of workload.
But that would be a little bit of a reach, so we can get him on the second pick, I think, if we did go that way. Cole Kmet just came off the board. So we're kind of wide open here. Right now we have 4 running backs, 5 receivers, tight end, quarterback. I like going Jahan Dotson in this range, Quentin Johnston, Xavier
I have a ton of
Legette.
Kendre Miller as well, but, I know we've kind of hit running back heavy. I'll let you take the reins on this one.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Jahan Dotson, and we'll then hopefully get a tight end on the back.
All right.
Let's go look. Put that guy up there because that guy actually excites me. Ben Sinnott excites me. for the fact that I think he kind of just has to step into the main role, especially in this range where you just don't have somebody you're just like super confident in.
Yeah, really, Terry McLaurin has never finished. He's always been a fringe wide receiver 3, late wide receiver 2. He's never had a top 20 finish, and he's never. What happened?
He took Luke Musgrave. I think that's
Was that his third tight end?
second. It was
okay. So, well,
but I'm very surprised by it. So we'll just see what he does.
Considering he only had one, that was probably
he
a
took
smart move for
both
him.
of them.
Yep.
All right. Well, that changes our game. What would you like to do? Kendre Miller. We can get a tight end later. We can get 3, I think, on this build.
Yeah, I think best running back available. I like Marshawn Lloyd and Kendre Miller as handcuff.
What do we have?
Potential
week-wise. Hold on.
Options, but I think if between Jacobs and Kamara, who's more likely to just have a fall off this year, I think it's probably Alvin Kamara.
Right, fair.
On Absolutely. A worse team, and then also older. I just think that Kendre Miller, and then also Kendre Miller is younger than a lot of these rookie running backs too, and he didn't really have too many touches. It's a shot in the dark pick, but
I feel confident though with the running back room that we have, especially now that we added him. We do have some.
We don't have a high end running back one, but every single one of the guys we picked wasn't a reach, and it's also guys that we have a lot of exposure to. At least in the early portions of this draft. So
yeah, ADP wise, I guess Javonte was the only reach, but
again, we have him much higher. Yeah, we have him as RB24, which is RB2, and we got him the 9th round.
Yep.
So, he's like RB32, 31 in both best ball platforms right now, Underdog and DraftKings. I mean, to me, I just really, really like his upside. Usually you always want to target running backs the year, after the year they came back from an ACL. Breece Hall was the complete outlier. AP is a complete outlier. Other than that, it's usually been, you got to wait, or they're probably getting overdrafted based on where they're at. And then even Breece Hall last year, he didn't really fall anywhere. Like Javonte, at least, he was like a 10th round pick.
Right.
So, if you took the chance, bit you in the butt, but it wasn't crucial. Breece Hall was like a 3rd or 4th round pick throughout the entire summer. He never dropped. So to us, there was just no reason to even give any exposure to it. I think I had maybe 2 lineups with him, and then he just completely goes nuclear at the very end.
He's just really good at football.
But probably based on drafting him as an RB2 at that range, probably last year, really, he probably didn't lead me to the playoffs. I didn't have a ton of playoff teams with my best ball drafts because of the quarterback situations, but he didn't really do a ton to lead up to help build your points up.
Quarterbacks have been pushed down a lot because of what happened last year with so many injuries. Oh, okay. Geno Smith over there. Marshawn Lloyd makes sense. Right now, the only other team that's kind of on our build is the one that's up, but he has 2 running backs, including a hero RB. And then let's see. I guess we're the only one
based on
our build.
On the roster that we have so far. I think it's probably more likely than not that we're going to have to go a 3 QB 3 tight end build, which is fine.
Yeah,
because we have. I feel great about our receiver room, and then our running back room has a ton of depth.
Yeah.
And we're probably still going to get 6 or 7 or at least 2 more, 1 to 2 more. But they're going to be guys that we like a lot. So with opportunity. And then if we want to add another piece to the Houston team, Damian Pierce is another guy later on. There's guys. Roshan Johnson, if we want a second Chicago guy, / Khalil Herbert.
Yeah.
I know you've liked that. And then also, since we're so close together, we may be able to just go boom, boom. Not these 2 picks, but the following 2.
And finish out running back and then fire off on everything else.
Right.
Let's go look. We're getting to that point where let's see.
So this might be a good idea. Like you mentioned earlier, we went with D-Hop. So Will Levis is a guy that comes to mind.
And
Deshaun's still there, but he's got a rough schedule.
Will Levis is gone.
Levis is gone now. Okay.
We're up. But so I think a guy, Kamani Vidal. I don't know how you feel about Taysom Hill. This is a weird range, honestly. What are you thinking?
Well, I think we need to get our second quarterback.
So Deshaun?
Yeah, go with Deshaun, and then hopefully we can get somebody like a Justin Fields.
Yeah,
to round it out.
Would love that.
And then the next pick, filter out the tight end room for me. Fortunately for the tight end and quarterback position, even though the backup won't be ideal, we have the elite tight end that, if he gets hurt, we weren't going to have success with this lineup anyways.
That was a quick turnaround.
But
they went quick. So we got Wandell, 4 receivers. So we're not having to worry about that.
Okay. So I think tight end is probably a good idea. If you don't like Taysom Hill, then maybe we can wait.
I'm like Taysom Hill, not against Taysom Hill.
Okay. That's fine.
It's just, and we got him, much later than expected. It's, will he play quarterback? That's the real question. That's what we'd like to see if you get Taysom Hill. But you only need Taysom Hill to go off,
Well, I saw
3 weeks.
Their OC say that Taysom Hill was looking to be used in ways that we haven't seen before. And it's like, well, we've already been seeing ways we haven't seen before. So what else is there to... Right. Are you going to have him
kick return? Yeah, exactly. He's the kick returner now.
Which it wouldn't be a bad idea because of
the new rule.
I don't think we're talking enough about the new kickoff. Mm-hmm. How it's going to 5x the amount of returns. And then that's just going to exponentially shoot up like dual threat special guys like a Kevontae Turpin, for example.
Mm-hmm.
That there's a need for a wide receiver 3 in that offense, whether it be Tolbert, Turpin, I forgot the Flournoy, I think, was their later round guy. Mm-hmm. So one of those guys has the opportunity to fill into getting the 60 or so targets, but he's the true kick returner, punt returner for that team. And if you add up to 3 touchdowns with that, it's best ball. We're looking for 20th round picks that can on occasion get 12 points.
Yeah, we're that's the thing with Taysom Hill is like, well, and going back to the kickoff, I guess before I say that is, Harrison Butker's not even going to be the kicker for.
Yeah, it's going to be Justin Reed
because he can go down and tackle better. It makes a lot of sense. Taysom Hill, though, on the other side of that is, you get a guy that will play all these positions and has eligibility in your tight end slot. Mm-hmm. He is the one outlier that could change everything for your best ball team.
And weirdly enough, like it's a weird correlation, but it is that if Alvin Kamara goes down early and there's a bunch of volume for goal line touches, well, Kendre Miller obviously is probably next man up, but that just opens the door more for direct snaps and stuff for Taysom Hill that he's been sniping touchdowns the last couple of years anyways. So it's like we basically doubled down on backup running back essentially, which is fun because it's flexible as a tight end.
Yeah, he's an interesting player to say the least, and that's why what was it 2 years ago? I think 2 or 3 years ago he helped win the best ball Mania because he had like 30 points or something at the end of the year when it mattered. And those are the type of players you want to get in the 15th, 16th, 17th round. These guys that in the late rounds, like you're trying to get guys that have huge upside and can randomly get 30 points. That's why Justin Fields, we talk about him. If he's starting week 17 and you have CJ Stroud and Justin Fields starting, what if Justin Fields goes for 100 plus yards rushing? Right. Wouldn't surprise anybody, at least. Lots of running backs, which is okay. Which is okay because we kind of went after running backs.
Yeah, we went heavy in the middle rounds at running backs.
We kind of beat these guys.
We're still gonna get about 7, and then there's still a couple of guys that we can, handcuff. Audric Estime comes to mind. I know he's dealing with some kind of ailment right now, but it's not really concerning.
Yeah, it's early.
I did see the last couple of times we've been making fun of because Breece Hall is just, you can guarantee picking him at his ADP's in the 300s, and he's behind Israel Badakanda.
No, you mean Braylon Allen?
Yeah, I not say that.
You said Breece Hall. You're good.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Braylon Allen. We're like clicking him every time in the 20th round. Well, he finally flipped.
Did he?
So people are understanding now, like Israel's not going to be the RB2 in that team. So
all right, we're one pick away. We could go third tight end with Isaiah Likely and get, or Jawan Johnson, I guess, but I don't know what.
I Likely has the upside.
I know.
If we're looking for upside,
Yeah.
is Phil. Yeah, I think Likely for sure here, and then the next pick around Justin Fields makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm. Finishing out both of those rooms. Well, no, we would probably need a third quarterback still.
And if you, no, we went with Deshaun.
Oh, you're correct. Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
we went with Deshaun. So
awesome.
It doesn't correlate at all with our line, but he fell about 10 picks past ADP, and we just, again, we're looking for somebody 4 or 5 weeks, and we got the former Texan to back up the current Texan. So if we wanted to go, I don't mind Brees Hall at all in best ball drafts right now, based on being a 17th round pick. The only thing is we just don't have.
I'm sorry, you said Brees Hall again.
No way I did.
Yeah, you did.
Bryce Young. I'm so sorry. Yeah, Bryce Young.
I was like, what? Okay, yeah. Bryce Young has a very easy schedule. CJ Stroud, week 14 bye, and let's see, Deshaun week 10. So 11 and 9. We're good with either. It's just preference at this point. I think personally, I love the upside of Justin Fields. I don't know that I would think Bryce Young would be playing, more than 2 weeks, 3 weeks of our schedule with, CJ Stroud and Deshaun in there. So maybe the upside is where I would go, but I don't. I mean,
it's upside with tough schedule versus, very
and not
low
starting
tier
at
play,
the moment.
low tier play but easy schedule. It's probably going to average out to about even. But Justin Fields, again, at this point, we need 2 to 3 weeks, and he could be the guy to do that because of his legs.
And then we would get pick. So we have no more reason to go quarterback or tight end. It's all running backs and wide receivers from here on out, everybody.
And we got 2 picks left.
And we got 3 picks left.
3 picks left.
Yeah. So kind of looking at it, Jordan McLaughlin goes. We might still try to get the handcuff to Javonte.
So there's a person that he sent me a post yesterday. Jalen Hyatt making a acrobatic one-hand catch, and he was going in the 19th round. And as soon as that happened, I did 2 best balls yesterday, and he went off the 16th round, the 17th round.
Yeah, I messaged you, and I was like, we better get some of him because he's about to rise.
Yeah.
Here we go.
It's now time for viral video clips to just make people's ADPs go up and down.
Calvin Ridley jumped 2 rounds last year, and he was in the 5th before that. Yeah. Now he was in the 3rd because he ran better routes than Zay Jones. Well, kind of expect that, he's a good route runner, and Zay Jones is more of like a, in the middle intermediate type of guy. So it was so funny to me. I couldn't believe it.
I mean, Jalen Tolbert, there was like a story of him. He could be the one to break out this year, and lo and behold, look, he goes late 15th round. So it's about that time for these guys to
There's Turpin.
Start rising. Turpin off the board, like I mentioned previously.
Yeah, because
Bigsby is starting to rise as well. I was getting him in the 19th round.
He's in the 17th round over here. That's crazy. I've not seen that.
And it's not with the ETN team.
No. ETN, I think, is over here in the middle somewhere. Yeah, let's see. Way up here. Wow. Yeah.
Is Aldrich still on the board?
He is.
Okay.
Currently. So you said that. No, I mean, that's how it seems like it goes. We say it and it's
kind of risen up to, being a 17th-ish round. I mean, Jordan McLaughlin went the 17th round.
Is not the number 2 guy.
He's not the number 2, but it's because of the Aldrich. Oh, what is he dealing with?
And he's a rookie, and he was a 5th round pick, and yada yada yada. Ran a really slow 40. Don't get excited.
He's going to miss the remainder of OTAs after a knee injury. So he got a knee scope. He's going to be out for probably a month, and it's going to make his ADP sink. So we could maybe even get him later.
Yeah. I mean, if
with
anybody caught up,
or with the second pick, not referring to the
19th round. Yeah, I agree. Let's see. We're kind of getting to a point where it's just running backs and wide receivers. Got 6 receivers, but they're all way up here, and that's the cool part about this team. That's why you go 0 RB builds, because you get all those receivers early and you really don't have to touch it. Let's see. Isaac Garindo going. He could be the number 2 over why am I blanking? He's not Elijah Mitchell. He could be number 2 over Elijah Mitchell at the end of the day. We'll see. I don't know yet. There goes Jawan. Lots of tight ends, running backs, and quarterbacks. So quarterback again, we're going to go get our player. Roshan is still on the board.
Roshan's still on the board.
Wow. We'll take it. I won't be mad about it. That will probably be our last running back, except for maybe around 20. And then on this next round, we'll probably go receiver. I don't know that Jalen Hyatt will be there, but we'll probably get him, Tyler Boyd. Javon Baker has upside as a rookie. I'm not sure. He talks a big game, to say the least. So
yeah, so following the rules, it probably made more sense to go Audric there, but we've already had a ton of him. And then also, we didn't expect Roshan to fall into the 200s. So we're at, what, 217?
Yeah, we're at 219 right now.
219.
Yeah.
And
so
he fell to us, so that was crazy.
We're up again. I would go receiver here and hope that Audric falls to us, because if he is falling, maybe he falls even farther.
If you don't believe in Jalen Hyatt, then go with Darius Slayton. One of them is going to have the occasional game. Look at Darius Slayton, how I think it was a Christmas game versus the Eagles where, he had the 4 for 112 and a touchdown. And if you had that in your second round of your best ball, you probably had him in your starting lineup at the end of the season.
Well, let's give a quick recap of our team. I actually really like our team. Funny. So Jamar Chase, kind of that first round, you get the wide receiver of your choice. Travis Kelce, top tier tight end. Stephon Diggs, CJ Stroud, top tier quarterback. Keenan Allen, guy that we think is much lower than he should be. Zamir White, going to take over the backfield for the Raiders. DeAndre Hopkins, JSN, guy that we're much higher on than ADP currently. Javonte Williams, guy we're much higher on than ADP currently. Brian Robinson Jr. Same. Yeah, exactly. Chase Brown,
same thing.
A guy that we think could end up starting for that team. Jahan Dotson, a guy that, is the number 2 receiver.
Former first-round pick.
On his team. Kendre Miller. Microsoft is defending us. Kendre Miller, handcuff. Deshaun Watson, fell too far. Taysom Hill, high upside guy. Isaiah Likely, the perfect tight end handcuff if there is one.
If you at all are picking Mark Andrews, you need to be taking Isaiah Likely in the, what do we get him, the 16th
round? Yeah,
you need to. Doesn't matter, and get a third tight end, just because no matter what, you have Baltimore tight end as your tight end 1, and that's a top 5 situation. And then whatever backup you decide, it's okay.
And we've seen Mark Andrews injured. It's not like it's going to be a surprise if he goes down for a few weeks.
He's really the only true tight end that you can just stack confidently. I think another idea is if you want a Jake Ferguson and Luke Schoonmaker, because Dallas has always had a tight end 1 ADP in Dak's tenure as the starter.
Right.
That's why we left Jake Ferguson in the 19th round last year. He was my most exposed player. Just because I was like, one of them is going, and I took a stand on Jake Ferguson, and lo and behold, he finishes as a top 10 tight end. Luke Schoonmaker, they've drafted in the second round. I hate him as a player, but if Jake Ferguson goes down, they need somebody, and he'll get 5 to 7 targets every week.
Right. And then we went Justin Fields, high upside quarterback. If he starts, fine with me. Roshan Johnson, they're going to be committee guys. That's how I look at it. Just get ready for it. And then Jalen Hyatt, one-handed catches, baby. So here we go. So
it'll be interesting with the Chicago situation between Herbert and Johnson. I wonder if whoever loses out on being RB2, if they end up trading or moving on from as a surprise cut / trade candidate.
Yeah.
After the preseason.
So a fun idea is, getting a stack here. We're up in a couple picks, so getting a possible stack at our running back position and getting the top Vegas running back in Alexander Madison or Samir White. You don't have to love it. It's okay. We can go look for somebody else too.
We can do that. So you want to go running back with this spot?
I think so.
Okay, so Braylon Allen is still on the board, but if you want the handcuff, that's totally fine. I don't. Do you have a lean one way or the other
I think I lean with the handcuff just because
in terms
I'm
of
not
between the two
sure.
guys,
Oh,
Madison versus Law?
oh no, Madison I think is the lean for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, you meant between the Raiders guys.
Yeah. If we went that route, so I mean, we haven't done that, and it makes sense for another correlation. Only problem with Alexander Madison is he was the next man up, and he vaults into a lot of people's top 20s last year after Dalvin was
Right.
released, and he literally shit the bed.
Yeah, but you get him in the 20th round, and if he is the handcuff, and you get him to start,
But again, with Dalvin going down over the past few seasons, we saw times where he came in on spot starts and had 30 fantasy points,
and
he was an auto click, won us a lot of money.
Yep.
So if he can return to the 2021, 2022 version of himself, and he's not the starter, we'll see.
But yeah, we appreciate y'all coming and hanging out. I thought that this was probably the smoothest of our drafts. We're getting much better, you know. So that's at least good, and just kind of making sure we get all the guys queued correctly and stuff like that. But we appreciate y'all being with us. Go click that like button, subscribe to the channel, and go check out all of our socials. Go be a part of our journey and everything. We've been doing this, 3 whole months, and we're loving every second. But we love building this community. We love all the comments. We got 1,200 plus views now.
1,300
plus views on one of our videos. We saw so many comments. We'd love to answering them. We need y'all to keep it coming. So
keep it coming. Yeah, don't stop. We're not going to get sick of it whatsoever. We're going to be coming out with a ton of content throughout the summer. I know we've been going heavy on best ball drafts because 'tis the season. But we're going to be doing some generic strategy videos, and as well as introducing different styles of play. Auction drafts is something that we do with our big friend league that nobody does auction drafts, but it's my favorite way of drafting.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll be doing live streams with these kinds of drafts as well. Those will be like, these kinds of videos are more suited for that anyway. So I'm excited about that. And we just have a ton more to look forward to. So just keep on being tuned. And then just keep looking out, because we're ready to just give y'all a bunch of content.
Yep, it's all coming, and we're really excited. This is where everybody gets excited, is fantasy football, and we're getting into it right now. I mean, June. It's June.
You gotta prep in June so that August can come around and you can just be happy with your team.
Yeah, make sure you're ready when it all happens. You know what I mean? That's the big thing. So yeah, we appreciate it, and we'll see y'all next time.